Hi friends, today we are going to learn about SQL Server database creation and its connections. In the previous video, we have already seen how to install Microsoft Visual Studio along with Microsoft SQL Express. Now I am going to open Microsoft Visual Studio 2010 in the administrator privilege with the administrator privilege. You can see Visual Studio 2010 is starting up. Now see, this is the startup window. You can see file, edit, view, debug, team, data. Many menu items are there, and in the right pane you can see Solution Explorer, Find and Replace, Server Explorer, and in the left side you can see Toolbox. That toolbox you can move like this. Now you can see the toolbox. If you put your mouse over the toolbox, it will get popped up, and if you move out of that toolbox, it will go inside. So if you are not viewing these items in the left and right pane, you can just go to view menu and select whatever items are required. Now today we are not going to use any of these menu items. Our aim is to create an SQL Server database. For that purpose, we want to use this tab, Server Explorer. Now when I put my mouse over this Server Explorer, you can see one window has popped up. Lots of items are there in the list, in the data connections list. That means these are all database files that is already existing in this existing SQL Server database server. So also you can see one more thing, one red cross mark is there. That means this database is not right now connected with any of the project opened here. Actually we haven't opened any project here. Now if you want to open this database, you can just click this arrow. So you can see here like this. Okay, now you see that testing.dbo is now expanded. See database diagrams, tables, views, stored procedures, functions, synonyms, types, assemblies. Now you can see the symbol is like a code that shows it is now the database is now opened for use. Today we are not going to use the existing database. Now our aim is to create a new database. And connect that database into our project. Now to create a database, what you want to do is right click on data connections and you can see refresh, add connection, create new SQL server database. Now I am going to click create new SQL server database. Server name, actually if you are using SQL Server Express Edition, the server name always should be like this: ./SQL Express, and log on to the server using Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. This means by default it is in Windows authentication. That means SQL Server and Microsoft Visual Studio connection is done through the authentication from Visual Studio. It won't be using the authentication parameters from SQL Server. If I click this, you have to provide a username and password for that particular database. While connecting to the database from Visual Studio, you have to provide the same to have a connection. So right now I am using use Windows authentication. Now you have to provide the database name here. I am going to give order management. Click the OK button and see here order management. Now you can see our database here. Click this arrow, database diagrams. The server does not have any more database. That means any more database objects required to use the database diagramming. Do you wish to create them? No. Actually, why this message has come? Because there is no table. You can see tables, nothing. That is why database diagram was asking you have to create a database diagram or not. Now stored procedures, functions, synonyms, types, assemblies, these all items I will explain you later. Today we are going to learn how to create a table inside your database and how to link two tables using keys. Now to create a table, how you have created a database? By right clicking the data connection. The same method to create a table, right click on the tables icon. Click add a new table. Okay, now you can see the interface or the environment to create a new table. This is column name and column data type and allow null values. So the main thing you have to think in your you have to take care of is every table should have a primary key. If that table is required to be linked with some other table, so I am going to give the first column as primary column, primary key column. Now our first table is for order, so I am using order underscore ID as my first column name and integer as my data type, and allow null I should remove, because the first order ID I am going to make it as a primary key. What is a primary key? A primary key is the value that uniquely identify a row or a record. So this value won't be repeating in other records. So to make this column as a primary key, you have to right click here, click this set primary key. Now you can see a key symbol here. That means now this is a primary key. But primary key, normally primary, you can see here data type. This primary key data type is integer. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. This number will be coming here. So what I want to do is, I don't want to give this primary key by myself. The system should generate its order ID 1, 2, 3 according to the insert command, or according to the data it is going inside the record. One order ID should be automatically generated and incremented. For that purpose, what we want to do is select this row and move like this, and identity specification. Is this as an identity? Right now it is, by default it is no. Double click this column, double click, then it will get yes, and identity increment as 1 and identity seed as 1. That means initial value will be 1, and automatically whenever a record is added, then 1 it will become 2, 2 become 3, 3 become 4, like that. Now order ID, now what we did is we have created a primary key. Now order number, in some case, in many case, order number won't be a single integer number. Some character also may come. So that is why I am not going to give integer. I am going to give variable character as its data type, variable character, and I am not going to allow null values. Whenever I record an order is coming, it should have an order ID, order number. That is why, and I am not going to allow any null value, order number. Now order date. Now this is date data type. If you want to store date and time, then you can use date time data type. But as far as order is concerned, date is sufficient. That also should not be null. Then another thing is modified date. That also I am going to give it as date. That can be either null or we can allow null value, no problem. So these are the first table columns we have added, and right now I am going to save it. Click this button. Now by default it is showing table 1. It is showing just table 1. We can have any name. I am going to give order and click OK. Go to Server Explorer. Now you can see our order table is present inside the tables tree view. Okay. Now we have created one table. Our database contains one table. Okay, I want one more table, order details. Same procedure, add a new table, order detail ID. Since we are going to use the first column as a primary key, we should have to use integer as data type. Null is not allowed for primary key. Right click here, set primary key. Then we have to give identity specification, double click, that's all. Now this is order details table. That means if you are going to purchase something from a shop, you have one order and that order contains many items. The table what we have already created, just give order number and order date and something. It won't be having any information about what you have purchased and what were the items present. So that item details we will be storing in this order details table. So but this order details table should be connected to order table in order to take details from order details to order table. I will explain to you further. Now this is the primary key of this table. Now I am going to add order ID and same data type integer I am going to provide, and this can be null or cannot be null. So this order ID, I think you may be remembering this order ID is the primary key of that our existing table. Okay, earlier we have created an order table and that its primary key was order ID. That same order ID I am using here also in this order details table, but not as a primary key. Then why we have used this same name? We have to link this table, this order details new table with this order table. So in order to link one table with another table, these tables primary key is used here. If you are using like this, one table's primary key in another table for identification, for connection, then this row, this ID we are calling, this is also a key, foreign key. Then this order ID is a foreign key of this table for to connect this table. So order ID in this table is the foreign key. Now product name, this is string variable character, 250 number of characters are allowed. I am not allowing any null value. Product name, price, I am using integer as price, unit, variable character, 20 as unit. Okay, that much is sufficient. If you want modified date also, no, that is not required right now. Now I am going to save this table, order details table, order details. Okay, now you see in your server explorer, this is our order management database. That database contains two tables, order table and order details table. Okay, now these are two separate tables. Both the tables are having primary keys, but one table is having a foreign key. Foreign key is used to link between these two tables, I already said. Now we will see how to link these two tables using this foreign key. What you have to do is, double click on this foreign key table. Now you can see order ID is here. Right click, go to relationships, click add. Now you can see some entry has already come. Now you have to go to this tables and column specifications, go to this button, primary key table. So here we have to specify the primary key table. Actually the primary key table was order table. So order ID, order details, order ID. So you see this is order ID, this is order ID, this is order table order ID, this is order details order ID. So initial primary key table was order table and foreign key table was order details table, but both are linked through order ID. Both are linked. Now click OK. Now our tables are linked, but now you can see here insert and update specification. Click here, delete rule, no action, cascade, set null. I am going to select as cascade. Update rule, select as cascade. What is the meaning of this delete rule and update rule cascade? That means if you delete any entry from this order table, if you delete any record from this order table, the corresponding foreign key records of this order details table will automatically delete. If you update any order key details, automatically this will get updated. I will explain to you, I will show you with some example later, but right now what you learned is how to create a database in SQL Server, how to create a table, here tables, how to add primary key, how to add foreign key to a table, how to link two tables with using foreign key. Okay friends, I think you have to practice this at your home. Then the next video I will be explaining to you some more details about index keys, generating scripts, and some other useful features. Okay, now we are concluding here. Okay, thank you for watching.